It's November, my birthday month, and it's time to do an update on what I got up to in October. So socially, October was a really good month. So it started with going out with my husband for brunch. So we went to a place called the Alex on Felixstowe Seafront. It's a lovely place with sea views. I got the Eggs Benedict Royale, which is like a poached egg with salmon. It was very nice. And it was just lovely to have a little walk along the beach with my husband. The kids were at school, so it was a day when our days off coincided with each other. So we got to spend some time together, which was really good. And I also went to a place called Trinity Scares with all my best friends. So this was an event that I'd planned with my friends to celebrate my birthday. So it was just the girls that I've known like since I was like really little. So like your long-term best friends. So we got together, went to Trinity Scares. One of my friends had never been to a scare experience before, so it was new for her, and it was a lot of fun. So you go around like on a tour around sets that have been created, and there's like actors there that jump out at you to scare you. It's made to be like, there's like creepy music, it's dark in places. It's a lot of fun. We had a lot of giggles because it's strange because you're like obviously jumpy because you're having people jump out at you, but at the same time nothing really bad is going to happen to you. Like, these people aren't actually evil. It is just good fun. So you end up laughing because they got you. And we had a brilliant time. And then the next one was I actually got to do some stuff with my children for Halloween because it was October half term at the end of the month. So the kids were off for a week, which did obviously impact my ability to do writing or make any videos and stuff like that because I'm busy with the kids. And I was also trying to spend time with my kids as well as work because I didn't have enough holiday to take that week off with my children, and my husband had to have it covered. So I was trying to make as much of my free time spent with my children. So we went to an event at Landguard Fort, which is like a castle in Felixstowe. It's near the viewing point, so it's also a great place to go if you're interested in watching vessels come in. And even if you think you're not interested in seeing vessels come in, it's kind of cool to go see it because it is interesting. There's like these tiny little boats called tugs, and they have to pull the massive vessels into the docks because they're so big and powerful that if they had their engines on, they would crash and smash the dock. So these tiny little boats have to pull these massive boats into the docks, and it is quite cool to watch. So if you ever are in Felixstowe and you've never seen it before, go check it out. Because it's like a really busy port, there's always a vessel coming in at some point, so you're bound to see it. And there's a nice cafe there to get some food, or go check out the fort, which is where we went. So the fort had volunteers all around it who were there behind the doors. There's lots of rooms in the castle, and so the kids would go around, they'd knock on the door, say trick or treat, and one of the volunteers would come out, give them some sweets to put in their bag. And then in the middle there was supposed to be a magician doing some tricks, but I think when we arrived in the centre, we obviously either got there when he just finished his act or just before he was going to start his act. And my kids have been really well behaved, and I thought it was best to go while we were having a great time than to hang around where they could start to get bored waiting, and I had no idea how long it was going to take. So we did miss out on the magician part, but it was a lovely event, and they've never done it before, and I hope that they'll do it again next year. Usually we do go to the fort, but we go to the museum. So they are two separate businesses in a way. They're like funded in different ways, and the museum is part of the fort but also separate. It's got its own like area, and in the museum they usually do like sort of hiding things around the museums. The kids like have like a piece of paper and like a treasure hunt, and they have to go find their thing, and that's been really good in previous years. So if you have kids in Felixstowe, check out whatever the fort or the museum are doing, because it's always quite good and quite affordable as well, which I think is really good. So that was the social side, and then there was even writer's social. So it's usually writing is quite a solitary experience. So one of my author friends called Julia Scott, she's also the lady who does my formatting for my books, which you've probably seen me show off before. I'll probably put a picture up because I just love showing off the inside of my book because it's so pretty. She did a great job. She posted on Instagram that she's created a Mighty Network. Now, I've been part of a Mighty Network before that another author created. She was doing editing, I want to say Willow Tree editing. She was a lovely lady, created an amazing group for everyone to get together, support each other. But it just never seemed to get the numbers. Like I even tried to help her, and just for some reason people just didn't connect. I think people were feeling tired. They had like all these different social medias, that another one just felt like, more social media. But Julia's group has come up at the right time. It's called The Right Place, right spelled WRITE, because it's for writers. And I think a lot of people are feeling frustrated with Instagram at the moment. They're so invested in trying to get people to pay for the platform, to get seen, that it's like we're all getting lost in the algorithm. We're lucky to most of us are lucky to get like 1 or 2 likes on a post. So it's hard to connect with people, to even get seen by people. So she's created this group so we can all come together, support each other, and it is great. There's a great community there. Everybody's like chatting about like how they're getting on doing NaNoWriMo, because I joined in October, but obviously we're now in November, and it's just lovely. And I'm actually seeing other writers, and then I'm able to go find them on Instagram and see what they're about. So I'm really enjoying that. So that was like a really good part of social time in October. The downside of October was definitely technology. So my website plan ran out at the end of October. So I started working on migrating my website to a new host provider, because the one I've been with, I tried to move last year because I'm not happy with it, but I couldn't move because I could move, but I'd already paid for another year. I hadn't realised I'd paid for 2 years, because it was cheaper technically on paper, like to pay for 2 years, because then each year was cheaper than if I paid for 1 year and then paid for another 1 year, because it always goes up after you've had a year. So I paid for 2 years, and so I felt like I really ought to stay to get my money's worth, even though I wasn't happy. So the way I wasn't happy was I didn't feel like they were very responsive customer service wise, and I also found, I can't explain it, like my website's through WordPress. So I've had my website hosted on WordPress by WordPress. That was really good, which you'd expect because it is their platform and their website, so it's going to be seamless. So that was brilliant, because I literally went from being free to paid. But then when it came to renew, it was very expensive to stay with WordPress. So I moved to a provider called SiteGround. So SiteGround were amazing. They were like really supportive with the transfer. They answered all my questions. And they were supporting me to do it myself. You had to pay extra to have somebody do everything for you, and I was trying to save money, and I was thinking, I've got a software engineer degree in HND in software engineering, HND, not degree. That's like 1 year off a degree. So I've got that, so I should be able to figure this out, which I pretty much did. There was just this little bit at the end where I wasn't quite sure if it was right, and SiteGround were really supportive. After a year with SiteGround, I then had to look for another provider because the price jumps up again. So I then moved to a site called Hostinger, and they were on paper they looked really good, and they were highly recommended by other people. So obviously other people had a much better experience than me, but I just felt like they weren't very supportive. The move over to them felt very disjointed. I ended up going back to SiteGround, not like moving back to them. I'm leaving you guys to be hosting it, but they're not helping me. And then SiteGround supported me to get my website up and running on Hostinger. I mean, you can't say more about going above and beyond. And that stayed with me, how helpful and how brilliant and supportive they were. So then I was with Hostinger. So after a year with them, I tried to go back to SiteGround. They were helping me, but it was still, we're having difficulties with Hostinger again. And then I realised I'd already paid for another year. So then SiteGround refunded my money. They were again brilliant, great customer service. Like, don't worry about it. If you got another year, you go and enjoy it, and you will still be here next year. And they were. So another year on, I go back. And this time I am getting back to SiteGround because they were good. So the problem I had with WordPress on Hostinger, it's like they've got these like, there's different ways to like build your pages, and the one that they use, I don't like it. It's like all these, like you drop boxes in, but it like forces you into doing things you don't want to do, and I don't know. I was totally fine with all the other ways of building a WordPress website. The one that they use, it's got like a little monster, and it is a monster to use. I don't like it. So I then was trying to move from them to SiteGround, and I had a feeling that there was going to be a problem because of how I don't like this WordPress that they have. It just doesn't feel like it works the same as any other host that I've used so far. So we're moving it over, and then my site is supposed to be on SiteGround. So go and check, and instead all my pages look like I'm from a rock band. They're all these template files, and I can see when I log into the admin panel of my WordPress website, all my files are there, all my blog posts, all my other pages are there, but everything's got these banners for like this rock band. So I asked SiteGround for help, because obviously Hostinger, they just never respond. They're just not there. It's like an empty room. So SiteGround helped me, and they're like, unfortunately, it seems that the theme that you used over there hasn't transferred over to us. So you'll have to choose a new theme and edit your pages. So I did. I had to edit every single page manually because I couldn't find the same theme that I had before. I've now found it. So one time I might change back. So things I like about the new theme I have is I've got this scrolling panel that moves across on my website. Whereas before it was, I had a static banner and like 3 icons underneath, which were good, but I don't know. I'm not 100% happy with how it is looking right now. But I am at least back with SiteGround, and when I log into the admin panel, it is working the way it should be working, or how it has always worked for me before, when I was with WordPress, when I was with SiteGround before, just not when I was with Hostinger. So that's all great. And I feel much happier. I feel like safer with SiteGround, because I know that if I have a problem, there's somebody there to speak to, even if it's on a messenger thing. So it's much better. That's my personal opinion. Other people might have had different experiences. So yes, that was a bit stressful, and that took a few weeks to sort out. And then the next technical problem was Ingram Sparks. So let's get into Ingram Sparks and the drama that happened there. So there's a lot of people who will complain about Ingram Sparks because they are not very user friendly. So if you don't know who Ingram Sparks are, they are an aggregator. So you upload your book files and your cover, and they have this amazing printing facility. I've gone and visited it. It is absolutely incredible. And they produce your books as like a Willy Wonka factory for books, and all just like coming off these massive reams of paper, spinning these books off, putting them all the papers get like put together like perfectly. And the quality of the books they produce are really good. This is one of the things that people like about Ingram Sparks. They are very good. They also have great distribution. So each aggregator, so other popular ones would be Draft to Digital. You know, I'll just do a link to a blog post where I looked into different aggregators. And Draft to Digital has got a good list of people that you can distribute to. But Ingram Sparks has got a good reputation for being good distribution links. They can get you into libraries and get you into like some of the more exclusive bookshops like Waterstones, who can be very difficult, but you still have to fill in a massive form to get in with them. But there are a lot of distribution options, which makes them very good. The problem with Ingram Sparks is they charge £50 anytime you want to update your file. So you release a new book, you want to update your back matter, £50. And for a lot of people starting out, that's a lot of money, £50, because you might not have even made that back yet on your books. So I might have just scraped 50 quid by now, and that does not cover all the rest of the stuff that I've had to pay to produce my book. So I'm a bit disgruntled. I don't want to pay £50, especially as every time I sell a book, they also take a cut. So I don't know. It's not like they provide any support or help with doing the files. So, in fact, and that's where we're going to get into the drama. So they send out a coupon saying that they were going to waiver the fee in October. Great, because I was looking to update my files. I'd even considered, should I go off and join Draft to Digital? And I looked at uploading my file. They were very responsive, and they told me it wasn't going to work because of the way my book cover is set up. The logo would be going in a different place, which wouldn't work with my cover. So I'd have to get a new cover design, which obviously is another cost. So I was like, okay, so this is great. Ingram Spark is going to waiver the £50. Let's do this. So I upload my files and everything ready to upload. And Ingram Spark is like, oh, you can't go any further. You have to update your prices. So it turns out they've got this new agreement that they want booksellers to get, I think it's at least 55%. So they take their cut, then the booksellers take 55%, and I get whatever's left over, which is usually not very much at all. And because of this increase, I was now going to be in negative. So they were refusing to sell my book, refusing to update my book. So I had to up my prices. So I go in there, I update all my prices, but it keeps coming up with this error because for some reason it will update all my prices except America. So I have to ask Ingram Sparks to have a look into this and fix it. They have a look into it and they say that the reason this isn't working is something to do with they need me to confirm that my bank details is correct. So my bank details have been the same since I started, but for some reason it looks like they've added a new box into the system, like a new field, and they've decided to populate the information with what I gave them and put something in a different box to where it was before. So now I have to correct it. So I correct that, and then I confirm that I've corrected that. And then there is another problem because now Ingram Sparks have to have somebody look at it, check that it's all correct before I'm allowed to update my files. And then I get to update my files. And I think, oh, finally, all the prices are up, my bill, my bank details correct. Updated my prices. Great. But nope, another error message. This time I have to email Ingram Sparks, wait for support to get back to me. And they tell me it's going to take, was it 5 to 6 days or something before it to update on their system. Then I can update my files. So now we're almost 2 weeks in, because usually the only time I have to work on my business side of my writing is on a Friday when I have a couple of hours to myself. I have 5 hours on a Friday. So we're like 2 weeks in now trying to sort this mess out. So I try again. Did I get another error message? I really can't remember. It was just like one thing after another. And I just remember there being another error, but I can't think what it was. But I did finally get to the end. So my books did, because I was starting to panic that I was going to run out of days in October and then my £50 wouldn't be waived. That was it. They said that I had to confirm my payment details. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, after all this, you know what, just take my 50 quid. I've had enough. Even though really I should be saying, I've had enough, I'm going elsewhere. I'll pay for a new cover and go to Draft to Digital. That's probably what I should have thought, but I was just like so frustrated. Got to the end, I was just like, do it. And it went through and I was like, have they charged me 50 quid or have they actually accepted the coupon that they sent me and told me I could waiver the £50? It seems that they did waiver it because I haven't been charged 50 quid. So it must have just been like another weird thing on their system that they have to take bank details even if they're charging zero. I don't know. But it has actually gone through. So my books files are updated now everywhere. Smashwords I thought would be easy to update, but they flagged up that they weren't happy with my ebook file. They pulled up that there was a bit in there in my back matter asking people, if you like my book, please post a review on popular book review sites like Goodreads or Amazon. It helps get books found, discovered, noticed, that kind of stuff, something along those lines. And they flagged up because other competitors like Google Play, Apple Books don't like seeing books with the word Amazon in. So I don't know if they have software to pick this up, because I upload directly to Apple and I upload directly to Google, and they've never kicked up a problem. I haven't ever made a sale on my books there, so maybe they don't promote my book because they've picked up on it. I don't know. So anyway, I got my formatter was really good. She got straight on it when I told her the problem. She updated that for me as well, and then I uploaded it, and it took a couple of days for Smashwords to say that that was okay, the new file, and it is now live. So fingers crossed, my book file is updated everywhere. So that was that stress dealt with. I sent out my October newsletter and I got my first sale on my TeeMill shop, so that was really exciting. My mum was my first customer and she bought a blue hoodie with red fae as a logo on the sort of like, you know what I mean, like this area of your chest, and it prompted me to go and order my samples. My samples should be here in a few days. I can't wait to get them. So I've ordered a hoodie and a jumper because it is cold at the moment, and I think that they will be just perfect to wear. So we made some good progress on Ocean Heart by getting the files updated, but we did not make good progress with Sky Heart. So the main progress thing was supposed to be that my new editor was going to work on editing Sky Heart in October. Unfortunately, when she was planning to work on Sky Heart, she got ill and her whole family got ill. So this obviously took priority, and then it caused it is causing a delay. She's hoping and rescheduling it to be edited in November. I'm praying it does happen. It just feels like everything is going wrong with trying to get Sky Heart right so I can release it. But I want it to be right before it comes out so that you guys get a good book. I don't want to just put anything out. I remember thinking I was going to hopefully have this book like ready to release for May for Hertz Book Festival, then it wasn't going to be June for Felixstowe Book Festival, and then I thought, oh, maybe it'll be August for when I go into Legends Comic Con, then September for MK Lit Fest, but it just keeps being delay after delay after delay. So I've just decided it's probably not going to be out until 2024. I'm really sorry about that, but in the meantime I've decided to work on Forest Heart. So I dropped my editor an email to let her know I'm not in a rush to get it back straight away, because I'm going to focus November on book 3, drafting Forest Heart, and I thought that might just take a little bit of pressure off her shoulders, because I'm sure being sick in October probably impacted other things more than just my project. So she's probably got a lot on her plate at the moment, and I thought maybe that would just help her a little bit. So I won't get to look at it until December, so sometime in November I will hopefully get Sky Heart back from my editor. But there's just been there's just so many things keep going wrong with Sky Heart, but I will make sure it is right before I release it. So I'm glad it didn't come out sooner, because it's still not right and it needs to be right before it gets to your hands. So I hope you understand. I'm really sorry for the delay. So Forest Heart, because I thought I was getting Sky Heart back sometime in October, and thought that November would probably be me editing Sky Heart, based on the feedback from my editor, putting those corrections in place and getting it finalised. However, as it's not back, I'm now going to be drafting Forest Heart. So I'd put it off until almost the last minute to decide, yeah, I'll do it. And I might as well do it as part of NaNoWriMo, even if I don't make 50,000 words. I love the NaNoWriMo community for support. So NaNoWriMo stands for National, No, Novel, Writing, Mo, Month. So National Novel Writing Month, and that's where the abbreviation comes from, and it's been going on for years. And the idea is that you get into the habit of writing every day, and then you will achieve 50,000 words by the end of the month. So the goal's roughly, I think it's 1,666 words a day, and so everyone takes on the challenge. It's not it's fun. It's not supposed to be stressful. So some people will find that they write every other day. So they might be knocking out 3,200 words when they have time to write. Other people might just save all their writing time for the weekend, because that's when they're most free. And other people, like me, know that they're not going to make the 50,000 words, but think, why not just give it a go and see where we land? So November, hopefully I'll have an update for you on where did I land. So at the end of October, I needed something to get me started. So the original version of Forest Heart was called Hunted, and it was it called Hunted? No, it's called Instinct. Hunted was a different story. It was called Instinct, and it was about a werecat and her boyfriend, who was a human. And I told the story from both points of view because I used to write both the male and the female point of view. But as my writing has developed, I preferred writing from the female viewpoint and just having one point of view for my story. And so the guy has got to go out of the story. So this was a little bit challenging because the way it was written, he revealed things that she would know that were important to the story. So taking that out, I was like, how am I going to make this work so that we understand what's happened? So there was that. I also felt the story that I originally wrote, Instinct, was never actually finished. I wrote it on a computer at my old house, and the computer crashed and I hadn't got any way of it being backed up. Nowadays, I often put my stories onto a USB drive and onto like a Google Cloud thing. So it's usually in two places so that even if my computer breaks, it's not actually on my computer. If my phone dies, it's not on my phone. So there's a way to access it. And also, if some reason Google ceased to exist, which is unlikely because they seem to be doing quite well financially, but if they did cease to exist or discontinued that service of having a little cloud, then I have still got it on my memory stick. It won't be the most updated version because it's only when I go on a computer that I actually will transfer it over, so it's backed up. But yeah, it's there. So I had a look through the old files to see what I could do. I then went on the NaNoWriMo website. So they've got a bit on there called Camp NaNo. So there's different events throughout the year. So Camp NaNo is where they like encourage you to do a writing related project. You can set your own limits, your own goals, whereas NaNoWriMo is the 50,000 goal, is the one that the website promotes for November. But the rest of the year they have other events, and Camp NaNo is one of them. So I went on to that area because I know that they've got writing resources there, and I went to the section that was all about how to plot a novel, because I just wanted like a little bit of a structure to help me out. And on there was this spreadsheet. I have done a little video for people because I was talking about it at the right place. So I made a little video to show people where I'd found this resource because they were like, where is it? So I made the video, posted it up on Instagram in case other people want to know it, and told them there's a video. And I think I put it on YouTube as well. So there was that, how to find this spreadsheet. And that's the spreadsheet that I used to create my structure. So it's like 3 by 3 by 3. So there's the first act, the second act, and the third act. And then those acts are then broken into 3, and they're broken into 3. So it's like divisions of 3. If I was to recreate this spreadsheet, I would probably have the middle section broke into 2 more sections, all broken down into 3 more bits as well. So because I just find that the middle bit, there is like a beginning middle and an end middle. I don't know, it's just the way that my brain works. So if I was to recreate it, I would do that. But as I was in a rush because it was the end of October and I needed to have something that I could work with, I used this spreadsheet, and it was really good. It did help me to break down my story into sections and to think about what I need to happen at the start, the middle, the end, when the next bit happens. I also really enjoy using Save the Cat Writes a Novel, but unfortunately I have lost my copy of that book, so I have to look at the sample pages on Amazon to get a prompt of what the chapters were and try and use my memory to remember what they're about. So hopefully that book will turn up because it's great. So I ordered a copy of the YA version, so the one that's supposed to be for young adult fiction. So I thought that might be useful and make me feel like I'm not buying the same book again, because it'll be slightly different. So when I get that, I will have a look at it and I will let you know if that book is any good. So I drafted it out because I've got my bare bones. I then copied like my plan, my plot, into a Word document ready to start NaNoWriMo. So I think they're the most important parts of what I got up to in October. Next month is my birthday month, so hopefully I'll have some good things to share with you then. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and if you are already subscribed, please do like this video. It really does help. Thank you.